My search for Zelda continues as I've now finished 2 temples. Join me for an update on my quest on Tears of the Kingdom. Welcome back, Classic Crew, to another Tears of the Kingdom journal as I continue to play and document everything I do in Tears of the Kingdom. This is now my second journal. A reminder, I do not stream this game, so all of the footage you see on screen is a mix of footage I've captured and other footage we have found online to fill this journal. So last time I was in Hebra region investigating what was going on with the blizzard. Shortly after I released that journal, I actually went forward and went to the skies to discover that this game has temples. What a nice surprise. I actually did not know that this had temples. I was also surprised to see the airships are presented so early in the game, at least for me. When I saw the trailer, the airship is one of the things that excited me the most. And so to see so many airships leading up to the Wind Temple was super exciting. It was even more exciting to see that the Wind Temple itself was a massive airship called, what was it called? Stormwind Arc. And now that I've seen 2 temples, I'm starting to see the themes of what they are doing with them. And I really like their approach that the temple is still like part of the world. In both the Wind Temple and the Fire Temple, you can still like see the rest of the world, more so in the Fire Temple. So it still feels very open world, but it's still a very contained dungeon. It uses that approach of like 5 locks that you have to open, which is something very different than classic Zelda dungeons. So far, I like it. It's something new. It's refreshing. It still has that Zelda feel to it though. So it's a series of puzzles. It was pretty fun running around the airship trying to figure out where the locks are. The fact that they're on the map, it's like, oh man, this is some easy mode Zelda. Like they're really letting, like it makes it so much easier that you know which kind of direction you can look for. And honestly, I appreciate it. If they didn't have it, it could be frustrating just like running around in circles as I did in the Fire Temple. I'm not going to complain about easy mode. It's actually kind of nice, especially for a game that's all about chillin'. Speaking of chillin', we got to see the first boss, which was, I think, pronounced Colgera, which is your typical kind of like worm Zelda monster, but this time it's in the air. I have to say, this fight was so epic. I was kind of wishing I was streaming it because the music was like so intense, and the more you do damage on the boss, the more the music swells. Like it just gives me goosebumps thinking about it. So as I was looking at footage to give the editor for the Colgera fight, I realized other people fought this thing very differently than I did. What I was doing is I was hovering above it to see its weak point, and when the weak point would come out, I would dive face first into the weak point. I noticed some people, maybe this is more of a speedrun tactic, would actually fall under it, pull out their fire arrows, and shoot at the weak point from underneath. And I noticed that helps you avoid a lot of like the garbage it shoots at you, so that might be more of the pro strategy. After that was done, I unlocked my first Sage power, which I'm realizing is now kind of another gimmick of the game, where you get like a ring, and now you get kind of a ghost version of the Sage following you, so I can now push myself forward with the wind. I thought it would interchange between the Sages, but now that I've unlocked the second Sage, from the Fire Sage, and I have now 2 ghosts running with me. Oh, I'm not liking that, because that means I'm gonna have 4 ghosts around me later in the game. I'm not feeling that. That's a little bit too busy for me. I don't even know what you would do. I just wish they weren't there. I wish you could summon them at will. You have the rings. Like I wish you could just somehow like... Another thing is, a lot of the side quests got me really excited in the first journal. I'm realizing a lot of these side quests give me the same vibe as Mario Odyssey, that's a lot of copy paste. And that's another, the guy who you put up signs, it was cute at first, but he is literally everywhere. They just like sprinkled him across Hyrule, and it's just different like little puzzles. The Korok that you have to like take to his friend, it's just copy pasted all over the map. So I'm realizing, oh, there's these side quests you have to do, but you just have to do them over and over and find them all. And that gets less exciting. It's like in Mario Odyssey, where there's just so many moons everywhere, and you know that every planet you go to, there's always going to be like about a certain series of quests of moon that's always the same thing, like find all 100 coins. That one's okay actually, but like I don't remember all of them at this time, but I hope you know what I mean. And I'm seeing that here, and it seems like it's kind of a staple of new era Nintendo, and I can't say I'm enjoying that direction. So before even getting into the airship, I found the depths, and yeah, it's crazy I hadn't seen the depths in my first 10-hour play on the last journal. Shortly after publishing that, I actually found the depths, which was just, I think, south of the fort. Oh my god, there's a whole world underneath Hyrule to explore. This place is creepy. I absolutely don't like being down there. I love the fact that there's like a light tree bud that you can like make everything have light. That encourages me to like explore down there. Otherwise, I find that place absolutely terrifying. There's like all sorts of creepy oozy thing. Oh man, they like really did it well, but I was not expecting that. Another thing was there was a bit of a side quest there to basically unlock the compendium and the camera from your wheel. So I think I was supposed to do that before the Wind Temple. But now that I have the camera unlocked, I was like taking pictures of everything just to fill up my compendium. Not quite done there. I never really did that in Breath of the Wild, but I figured if I start early in Tears of the Kingdom, I can maybe fill my compendium a little bit easier when I get to endgame. Other things, I think I realized what the Pillars of Light I mentioned in my last journal are, like that I talked to like the deity deer. I think those are just marks of where the caves are. I realize caves is a big thing in this game. They even mark them on your map. So I think those rays of light just show you where all the caves you haven't found are, which it's a nice trick for completionists to know what's left to do. I also found my first great fairy. So she was in the near-death mountain, and I had to bring some musicians over on a wagon to wake her up, and now she powered me up a little bit, gave me some clues on where all the other great fairies are, so I really need to unlock those to buff my defense up because I am struggling. I'm getting hit hard. In the sky, I think I now found 2 star islands. They're star-shaped islands, and there's like a glyph there that says there's some ancient text, but you can't read it, and I think that's related to another character I met early called Toro, I think. And this guy, if he is not a JoJo reference, the first time I saw this guy, I'm like, that's freaking Jotaro. Like, did they base this character off a JoJo character? I don't know. You tell me. You look at him and tell me if he's a JoJo character to you. So I think he's going around the land trying to decipher these slabs that fell from the sky with ancient text. So there's this whole language we're trying to decipher. I'm really invested in that quest line. Really curious to see what that's all about. I've come across these like traveling ladies that look like they're wearing mushroom. They're like designer things. And they're all sharing some gossip about Misko's treasure, which I love this, like treasure hunting and trying to find some armor. So I know Misko has hidden some treasure and some armor all across Hyrule, and I'm getting some X's on my map to find them. So far, I have found a rumor that there's like a fierce deity armor set. I was like, oh, no way. Did they actually put this in this game? So I have no pieces. I just have rumors, but I really want to find the whole like fierce deity look and see what that looks like. Other little side quests. I had this Poe statue in the opening fort that I was like, oh, are there actual Poes in this game? Like finally at the bottom of Death Mountain, I found the Poes, so I know what that's all about. That you're collecting these little Poes, which are lost souls because somebody took the Poe statue from outside the depths and now the souls can't find their way. And you trade these things for like materials or more armor. I got the Dark Link chest piece. What else did I come across? I moved the Impa quest one like level past, so I did find my first dragon tier in the glyph, and that gave me my first memory, which tells me a little bit about what's going on with Zelda. And that's weird. So I suspect Zelda's time traveling because that memory showed her interacting with the first king of Hyrule. And all the sages keep having these flashbacks to the War of Imprisonment, and Zelda's there. I suspect there is a weird time loop because I know now Zelda is referred to as the Sage of Time. So I think at the beginning of the game, she must have time traveled, met Roru, I think that's his name, and somehow set the events in motion that I am now as Link. She's helping Link from the past. So like, I don't know what's going on, but there is some weird stuff going on with Zelda. And speaking with Zelda, I think there's an evil Zelda that Ganondorf is probably manifesting around the land because people are doing weird stuff. Like there was a whole group that was hanging out in their underwear and trying to fight people, and then you had to fight a group of moblins in your underwear to show them how to do it. Cool quest line, by the way. And everywhere I go, Zelda's messing things up. People are like, well, Zelda told us to do this, and it's like the dumbest thing, but they're listening to her because it's Zelda. But then you find out, there's an evil Zelda because Zelda was also manipulating Yonobo, who is the sage in Goron City, And my God, that was an annoying quest line because she is clearly like a mirage or an evil version of Zelda. And he's just like, we gotta go save her. We gotta go. It's like, oh my God, it's like I'm watching a kid's show. It's so annoying. Yonobo is really annoying, especially his like line that says, I can do it. But the way it's recorded, I keep hearing, why'd you do it? So every time I use it, it sounds like he's accusing me of doing something bad. And it is so triggering. And I'm just like, I know he says I can do it, but all I hear is, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? It's like, I didn't murder anybody. I finally figured out what those like shiny toads that you shoot in the caves and get the bubble gem does. So I met Colton, which is the creepy dude's brother from the Breath of the Wild creepy dude who gave you you could give him monster parts for stuff. So I got my Moblin mask from him, and I learned that I have to find him around the land and bring him more gems, and he will give me stuff. So that's a fun little side quest that I'm all about. And that's all kind of the side quests I've had so far. So going back to my journey in Goron City, I really like the fact that they got you set up with a fight at the top of Death Mountain. I was gonna say Mount Doom. I'm like, no, wrong IP. And you fight this thing called the Moragia, and I was like, oh my God, is this like already the boss of like the fire temple? Is this what like is the temple the volcano itself? But no, it was just like a mini boss just to show you that you can control like a glider in the air and shoot, you know. It was actually a really cool like segment. I really enjoyed it. And then like to actually fall within the volcano, was not expecting that. That was cool. I really did not like being in the depths once again to try to find, I think it's called Gorondia, the lost city of the Gorons. I like the lore, I like the concept, and finally found the fire temple, and it was good until I got lost, and I heard other people got lost too. I made it to the second floor. I unlocked, I think, 2 locks, and I couldn't figure out how to get to the 3rd floor. Like the temple did not really guide me in any kind of way. I had to like climb a wall and like hack my way and ascend through this weird like spot to finally make my way to the 3rd floor. And then I was able to solve everything else. But I went around in circles so many times on the 2nd floor because I just couldn't figure out how to go up. And that was a little frustrating. So I you know, Fire Temple loses some points for just not having intuitive design for how to get around it. And then I guess, let's talk about the boss. Marbled Goma. Goma. He was good. He was a lot more intimidating than the Wind Temple boss. And when I realized that I can just spam Yonobo to like on the legs to make sure he can't even get an attack on me, it was very, very easy to just knock out his legs, attack his eye. I was attacking with my melee weapons, and I learned like in the last 30% of his health, it actually does more damage to shoot him with an arrow, or at least maybe because my bow was stronger, it was doing more damage. So I'm like, oh man, I should have just been shooting his eye with my bow from the beginning, because I was like running up on him, climbing, hitting the eye with the sword. And my swords right now, all my melee weapons range from like 5 damage to like 15, so they're really not very strong. So I feel I need a boost in my armor. I need a second upgrade. I need to find some weapons. I found actually a way to level up my weapons. The Moblins have like these like horn things, and I realize if you fuse the horn thing to a sword, it gives like 10, 20 plus attack. So I'm like, okay, I gotta like collect more of these, fuse all these to my weapons so that they're a little bit more useful, especially as I gear up to go to the next area. So I really want to go to Akala because I want to go to the town there that I built in Breath of the Wild called, I think, Tauri Town. There sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on there. But I'm right next to the Zora domain, and I suspect there's a water temple there. And I'm scarred by water temples. I don't necessarily want to go there. And then there's also Hatino Village that I want to check out. I did check out Kakariko Village real quick, and I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, and everything felt off, and there's these big rings everywhere, and I wasn't really invested in that questline at that time. I'm going to go somewhere on the east side of the map. I just don't know where, because I actually can't figure out how to get to Akala. I just need to spend some more time there. So that's where I'm at. The next journal, I will surely update you when there's something major, the next temple, or the next moment where I go, oh my God, I got to talk about this. So I'll see you on that next journal or any other video on this channel. And until next time, keep it classy.